Beneath the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where millions believed Jesus was laid to rest, something was quietly discovered, something no one expected. A floor that was never meant to be lifted, a void beneath the tomb, linen where no linen should survive, and then nothing. What was found beneath Jesus' tomb in Jerusalem forced a sudden halt, because what they uncovered did not contradict the gospel story, it confirmed it, and that terrified everyone involved. Keep watching. The floor that was never meant to be lifted. For centuries, people walked across the stone floor of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem without any doubt or hesitation. Pilgrims from every corner of the world stepped onto the worn marble, believing the most important story in Christianity rested safely beneath them. The floor felt solid. It looked permanent. No one imagined it could fail. It had carried prayers, grief, hope, and faith for generations, and that long history created a sense of safety that no one thought to question. But that sense of safety shattered during a routine structural inspection in 2022. Engineers were sent to examine the marble paving around the small shrine that marks the place believed to be the tomb of Jesus. At first, the work felt ordinary. Then they noticed thin cracks spreading across the floor. The fractures were small, but they followed a pattern. Laser instruments revealed something worse. The ground was sinking. The movement was slow but measurable. The floor beneath the shrine was slipping downward. In an ordinary building, the response would be immediate. The damaged floor would be removed and the cause identified. But inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, that simple solution was impossible. The building is governed by a fragile agreement known as the status quo. Several Christian groups share control of the site. No stone can be moved unless all agree. This rule has kept peace for centuries, but it has also frozen the church in time. Repairs are delayed for decades. Problems are often ignored until they become dangerous. The engineers understood the stakes immediately. If the floor continued to sink, the shrine above it would crack. And if the shrine cracked, emergency excavation would be unavoidable. That would expose unknown layers beneath the church and destroy the fragile balance of power inside it. Fear spread quietly. The engineers delayed their full report. Official documents used calm language. Everyone knew the risk was growing and no one knew how to stop it. Years passed before permission was granted. When approval finally came, it was filled with tension. The instructions were strict. Repair the floor only. Record nothing beyond what was required. Work fast and speak as little as possible. No one was promised protection if something unexpected appeared. The moment the first marble slab was lifted, the atmosphere changed. Voices dropped, hands shook, tools felt heavier. Workers checked their measurements again and again. No one joked, no one relaxed. Many felt fear tighten in their chest. Others felt a sharp sense of awe. Everyone knew they were standing above something sealed for reasons that had nothing to do with time. As more of the floor was removed, it became clear that the damage was not accidental. The cracks formed a shape roughly rectangular centered beneath the shrine. The sinking followed a clear boundary. The ground beneath the shrine was uneven in a way that should not exist. Something older and hidden was pressing against the structure above it. This was not simple decay. It was controlled. It was deliberate. That realization forced the next step. A scan was ordered, and the images showed a structure beneath the shrine that directly contradicted everything historians believed about the site.
The bedrock didn't match the maps. Ground-penetrating radar was brought into the church with extreme care. Its use was limited to surface scanning only. Nothing was to touch the stone below. Nothing was to be disturbed. The engineers said the goal was simple. They needed to confirm that the bedrock beneath the shrine was strong enough so reinforcements could be installed safely. Everyone expected the results to match what centuries of records already claimed. Old maps, past surveys, and restoration notes all described the same thing. Solid limestone stretched downward without breaks. There was no reason to expect anything else. That certainty collapsed during the first scan. When the radar data appeared on the screen, the technicians froze. The signal returned uneven patterns that made no sense. There were empty spaces where solid rock should have been. At first, no one panicked. Interference was the most likely explanation. Jerusalem is dense with stone, metal, and electrical noise. The equipment was recalibrated, the scan was run again. Then it was run a third time, but the results did not change. The empty spaces stayed in the same position. They did not shift, they did not blur. They became clearer with each pass. The shapes were sharp and defined. They formed clean rectangles with straight edges. These were not natural cracks. These were not holes caused by water or collapse. Nature does not create right angles deep underground. What appeared on the screen showed balance, structure, and intent. Fear spread through the room as the technicians studied the depth readings. The shapes were uniform in height and width. They were not scattered randomly, they were tightly grouped. Even worse, they were centered directly beneath the tomb itself. The rest of the church showed normal results: solid stone, no gaps, no surprises. The problem existed only under the most sacred point in the building. The data clashed with everything that was officially known. No written record from any authority mentioned a structure beneath the burial slab. The Vatican had no documentation. The Greek Orthodox archives showed nothing. The Armenian records were silent. Generations of caretakers had sworn that nothing lay below. The radar now said otherwise. The team ran control scans in nearby areas to be certain. The readings matched expectations perfectly. The equipment was working exactly as it should. There was no technical failure. There was no mistake. The ground beneath the tomb was different because it had been changed. The mood inside the work area shifted quickly. Confusion gave way to fear and restraint. Engineers became careful with every word. Reports were rewritten. Clear terms were softened. The word void disappeared and was replaced with anomaly. Files were restricted. Access was limited. No one openly accused anyone of hiding the truth, but no one needed to. The silence said enough. The conclusion was unavoidable. The bedrock beneath the shrine had been cut. Someone in the past had carved into solid limestone with purpose. That act required time, skill, and planning. It also meant secrecy. Whatever lay below had survived wars, fires, destruction, and rebuilding without ever being recorded. It had remained hidden while the city above it was torn apart again and again. To understand how something like this could exist beneath one of the most studied sites on Earth, the team had to look backward. They had to face a period when Jerusalem was not carefully restored. It was crushed, covered, and forgotten.
Rome didn't build here, Rome buried it. After Jerusalem fell to Rome in the year 70 CE, the city was not simply taken by force, it was taken apart piece by piece. Roman troops destroyed buildings, leveled neighborhoods, and stripped the city of its identity. What followed was not recovery, it was an erasure. Decades later, when Emperor Hadrian ordered the city rebuilt as Alia Capitolina, his purpose was clear and ruthless. He wanted to remove Jewish memory and crush the growing presence of Christianity. Sacred places were targeted first. Sites that held meaning were flattened until nothing recognizable remained. Roman temples were then raised on top of them, not to honor the past, but to rewrite it. In many areas, Rome did not rebuild upward. Instead, it destroyed downward. Entire districts were smashed into rubble and then pressed into the ground. This was not careless destruction, it was planned. Roman engineers used their skills to seal history beneath layers of stone and dirt. Engineering became a tool of control. The layer found beneath the church floor matched this method exactly. Archaeologists studying the data recognized it immediately. Beneath the shrine was a thick layer of tightly packed rubble dating to the 2nd century. This was not the result of a collapse or an earthquake. The stones were broken into similar sizes and pressed together with force. The layer was even and dense. Someone had taken time to do this. It was not debris left behind. It was filled on purpose. This meant the goal was not construction. The goal was burial. The weight of the fill would have crushed anything beneath it and sealed it away. It blocked access and erased paths. It ensured that future generations would walk above without knowing what had been lost below. Rome did not want these spaces remembered. It wanted them unreachable. But in a cruel twist, that same violence protected what lay underneath. By sealing earlier layers beneath tons of compacted stone, air was cut off, moisture was limited. Materials that would normally decay were preserved. Stone surfaces were left untouched because there was no reason to reuse them. Entire rooms disappeared from history without being destroyed. This explained how something could survive beneath one of the most studied religious sites in the world without a single written record. Rome did not build over it, Rome buried it. What endured did so because it was locked away by an empire that wanted it gone. Once the team understood this, a new fear took hold. If the Roman fill was intact, then the layers beneath it might be untouched. They might never have been entered. They might never have been stripped or altered. The possibility was disturbing. It meant whatever lay below had remained sealed since the 2nd century, and what the next data revealed proved that fear was justified.